our backs. So come to a nice comfortable position on your backs. If you, as I said, if you're just joining us now, if you haven't got bolsters, grab yourself a blanket or maybe a couple of blankets and you can roll them up and voila, a bolster. So you can use that to pop underneath the knees if you want to. You can pop it and use it as a cushion as well underneath the head if you find that the chin cranes a little bit when you've got your head on the floor. Simran's actually demonstrating this perfectly, which is great. So nice and comfortable wherever you are. I'm just going to stay easy seated, and if you prefer to be easy seated, feel welcome to do so. But wherever we are, we're just going to close the eyes and just start coming into our breath. And release any tension with a few sighs out through an open mouth. Making sure to let the jaw unclench. Release any previous facial expressions as well. Just let it all go. Now start to sense your entire body, wherever you are resting. And feel the upper half of your body as sensation. Now feel only your lower half. Now feel both simultaneously. Feel your entire body. Visualizing your inner sanctuary. This can be a place which is either real or imaginary, a place where you feel alive, a place where you feel happy, you feel contented. Allow yourself to rest here, visualizing this sanctuary. Now notice what you see. Any shapes, colors, and textures. Pause for a moment as you just absorb into your being what you see. And now notice the smells in your sanctuary. Breathe in, and for a moment simply allow the scent to fill up your entire being. Remember, this sanctuary can be a place which is real or imaginary, a place where you feel happy, you feel content, you feel peaceful. Now broadening your awareness to the sounds that you can hear in your sanctuary. Pick out 2 or 3 different sounds, and for a moment allow the sounds just to open up your entire being without intellectualizing any sounds or labeling them. Just listen. Feeling content, happy, connected, and peaceful. Now, what do you taste in your sanctuary? Allow this taste to consume your entire being with peace, with joy, and with love. Maybe setting an intention for peace, for joy, and for love. What do you feel beneath your feet or at your fingertips or beneath your body as you rest here? And notice how your entire being feels whilst you're in your sanctuary, remembering that you can return here whenever you wish to be. Gently bringing your awareness into your physical body now and bring yourself into the space where you are now. Just take some movement and just roll the fingers, roll the wrists and the ankles, wiggle the fingers and the toes. If you're easy seated, we're going to come onto our backs. Anyone who is joining us just recently, if you haven't got a bolster, don't worry. If you want to use one, just grab a blanket and roll your blanket up to create a bolster like that. So coming onto our backs, we're going to draw both knees into the body. If you've got support under your head, just pop it out the way for the moment and just rock from side to side. Taking any movement that feels good for you. Closing the eyes or having a soft gaze. Checking back with your intention. And then we're going to take some rolls of the knees. So you can do this with the legs bent, or if it feels better, just straighten the legs and just get a lengthening through the backs of the legs as well, you can. The main thing that we're thinking about here, or main bit that we're working through, is the lower back. So don't worry about stretching. We're doing yin yoga tonight, so we're not getting so much into the muscles, we're getting into the connective tissue in the joints. And let's reverse the other way around. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. Either in and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, let's hug our left knee in, and we're going to extend the right leg away. Softening the shoulders. If this is difficult for you to actually hold on to the shin, you can hold on behind the thigh, or if you've got a strap or anything, you can maybe just wrap that around the left leg and pull it closer towards you. Breathe here and allow yourself to rest. And then we're going to take a spinal twist. So just taking that left leg across the body, we're going to roll onto the right hip. If you've got support like a bolster, you might want to pop the bolster underneath your left leg and then reach the left arm out to the side. And make sure your left shoulder blade is grounded, maybe gazing over to the left side if you're not already. We're going to stay here for about a minute. I'd like you to, on every exhale, just let yourself breathe into the earth a little bit more. Relax the jaw. Check in with that intention. We've got 5 more breaths. Ensure that the hands are soft, the belly. One more deep breath in. And a full breath out for a sigh. And bring yourself back to center. And just bring yourself back into the center of your mat if you've gone over a little bit. And swap the legs over. So holding the right knee in and extending the left leg away. Top shoulders. Maybe take a gentle rock from side to side. And when you're ready, take your spinal twist to the left. Use that support underneath your right foot if you need to. I'm just going to sort the dogs out outside. Turn the heating down. I don't know how to. Okay. Taking around 10 more breaths. Now here we want to feel the opening down the right side of the body. So that right hip and the right armpit. 4 more breaths. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. If the mind wanders, bring it back to your breath as the anchor, bring it back to your intention. And let's come back to center. And just take a little rock from side to side. And when you're ready, take any movement that feels good, but we're going to meet coming up to just easy seated onto our bottoms. So lifting up, using support underneath the hips if you need to. So I'm going to face you, but Mummy can stay there. You can use a block underneath or bolster underneath your bum if you want. So make sure you're really nice and comfy and just give the shoulders a well-deserved roll. So one of the hardest things or the most challenging things in yin yoga is being present. Often when our bodies are still is when our minds tend to race instead of resting in the present. Let's take the shoulders forward. So that's why it's important to use an intention if you're new to yin yoga. Use something that can still you in the present, but offer movement if you need to take it. And let's roll the shoulders up to the ears, take a deep breath in, and stand down. Lovely, again breathe and lift the shoulders up, and out. Last one, breathe in. And out. All right, let's take a brief breathing exercise. So if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable in the legs at all, you can reach the legs out straight instead. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. So we're going to start just by using the hands at the same time if you want to. And then once you get used to the breath, you might feel that you don't need to use the hands. So we're going to start by, imagine we're breathing in from the earth, up through the front of the body, bringing the hands up towards the crown of the head. So bringing the hands from the earth, let me sit here, from the earth all the way up. And breathing out, directing that breath down the back of the body, back down to the earth. Breathing in from the earth, up from the front of the body. And breathing out, releasing that breath down the back. Breathing in from the front of the body, all the way up, and all the way back. And keep this going. So what we're doing is we're just allowing the breath to, we're kind of using it as a protective shield. So it's one really, really nice way, if you can imagine a protective egg of breath and safety around the body. This helps to slow down the heart rate, allow you to feel protected, allow you to feel that security of that inner sanctuary right here, right now. And maybe keeping the hands still, having the palms facing up, just so we can release, and imagining that breath moving up the front of the body and all the way around and down the back of the body. Scooping underneath the body as it scoops all the way forward. Take a breath in, front of the body to the crown of the head. Breathing out down the back of the body towards the earth. Wrapping around as we breathe in through the front of the body. And out. Let's do one more. Okay. And when you're ready, just come back to normal breath and bring your chin to the chest. Relaxing the arms with the palms facing up or down. Just allow gravity to take hold of the weight of the head here so that you're not forcing anything at all. Close the eyes and allow that breath, especially the out breath, to release a little bit more. Let something go on your out breath. Whether that's physical, maybe it's something that you've brought into your day through your mind. It could be emotional. Absolutely anything. Just let something go on your exhales. And then we're going to roll the head over to the right. So the right ear is coming towards the right shoulder. So we're going to stay here for 2 minutes. It's important that we're not forcing it. I'm going to say that a lot. You're probably going to be like, stop telling me not to force it. I'm not forcing it. But allow yourself to let go here. If you want to take it further, you may want to bring the left hand onto the floor and push into the air with that left hand and feel that length running all the way down the left arm as well. You can maybe use a block underneath the left hand if you feel that the earth is too far away, excuse me, to ground the fingertips. Use that breath. Close the eyes or have a soft gaze. And now for this last minute here, you may want to take the right hand on top of the left ear without pulling the head down, reaching it away. So lifting the head up and over to the top right corner. But if this feels too much in that right arm, you start getting achy, then by all means bring it back down. Using that protective egg of breath as well. So still breathing up through the front wall of the body, letting it just slide down the back of the body towards the earth. We've got 3 more breaths. One more breath. Keeping the head where it is. Release both hands to the legs. And then just roll the chin to the chest really, really, really slowly. As gently as possible. And then roll the head over to the left. And just see how this side feels in comparison to the other. It will most likely feel a lot tighter. So we're going to stay here for another 2 minutes. Just focus on that intention. And allow the mind to wander as well. When it does wander off, that's when you bring it back. Using that breath up the front wall of the body and down the back. Maybe press that right hand into the floor, fingertips, and find a little bit more length through the spine. And let that head rest, so not pushing it, just letting it hang out. And then take that left hand for this last minute onto the right ear, lifting away. And feeling that energy run a little bit more intensely. That's grammatically right. Down that right arm. We've got 5 more breaths. Deep breath in, full breath out. Last breath. Releasing both hands to the legs. And just bring the chin back to chest really slowly. And now just rock the head from side to side. And hopefully both sides of the neck will feel a little bit more equal. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Maybe take a full circle if that feels okay. Be mindful not to collapse the back of the neck. And let's go the other way. Okay, bring the head back to center. Let's give those legs a well-deserved shake out. All right, having some support props near you, just in case you want to use them. We're going to come back into the middle of our mats so that we've got room in front of us and behind us. We're going to come into a half lotus pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to hug the left one. We're going to cross the left leg in first. Now using a block or a book or something as an option, pop that in front of the left knee and you can bring your right ankle on top of the block. If you want to take it further, you can bring this right foot up towards the left groin. But if that feels uncomfortable on the ankle, if the ankle's sickling too much, it doesn't feel good, use your block here so that you can sit. It's almost like a modified double pigeon pose instead. But basically, we want that right leg lifted. So we're going to take a twist over the right leg. So we're going to reach the arms up. Deep breath in, drop the shoulders. As you breathe out, bring the left hand onto the right knee, and the right hand places behind you on the floor, or if you've got extra support, you can use a block underneath your right hand. Without forcing the body round or really trying to look over that right shoulder, just let your head rest where it feels good, drawing the chin downwards, but keep space between your chin and your chest so the throat is open. So we're going to stay here just for 1 minute. You may want to imagine your body, or imagine you're wringing out your body here as nicely as that should be, as if it's a wet towel. Using that out breath just to guide you around a little bit more without using the hands to pull you around, so make sure the hands are soft. We've got 4 more breaths. Deep breath in and out. In and out. Shoulders soft, jaw unclenched. 2 more breaths in and out. Last one. Gently unraveling back to center. Really, really, really slow. Using support out in front of you if you need it. We're going to take a forward fold over this top leg. So reach the hands out in front of you. Don't worry about having a straight spine. Just allow your body to drape. So even if that's kind of bringing both forearms onto the legs and bringing the chin down and rounding through the back, you can do that. But of course, use that support if you've got it underneath the arms. As I said right in the beginning, if you want to add any movement into the still postures today, you can do. That feels nurturing. We've got about 6 more breaths here. So we should hopefully be feeling an opening through that right hip. A little bit into the lower back. Thank you. Two more breaths. And then gently start bringing the body back up, unraveling really, really slowly. And we're going to undo that right leg, so assist it if you need to. And then just give both legs a little shake out. Now when you unravel, that's when you can feel stuff happening as well. I'll get into that in just a moment. So let's swap the legs. We're going to bend the right leg in this time. Option, have a block in front of the right knee and pop the left ankle on top of the block. Or bring the left foot up towards the top of the right leg, so towards the groin. So reaching the arms up, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bring the right hand onto the left knee. Left hand sits behind you, either onto the floor or onto a block. Main thing is that we're not leaning back as well. So if anything, if your body's not completely straight, if anything, you want to be a little bit more forward than back. Letting go of the grip of the hands. Thank you. We've got about 6 breaths. So we've got the right knee bent in first and then left. Here's 4. 5. And 6. Gently coming back to center. If you want to spend longer there, you can. And then we're going to take that forward fold over this top left leg. Just like before, when we moved on to the left side with the neck, acknowledge how this side feels compared to the other. And be mindful not to really try and bend forward and keep the shoulders away from the ears as well. So if you find the shoulders coming quite close by, maybe bring the forearms onto the thighs or bring the arms out to the sides. This way you can bring the hands onto the floor beside you. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. Checking in with your intention. And then you've got 3 more breaths. Here's 2. And 3. Slowly on an inhale, just float the body up. And gently unravel the legs. And give the legs a shake out. And just allow that blood just to rush into the joints. Give the ankles a roll. So for many of you, you'll already know about elastic recoil, because I've told you about it in classes before. But anyone who's new, elastic recoil is what happens after we come out of postures. Let's give those wrists a roll as well. So if you think when we're in a posture, we're almost cutting a little bit of the blood supply to areas of the body. When we unravel, we just get that lovely rush of brand new oxygenated blood into the joints. So that's our elastic recoil. Let's come on to hands and knees. And also we're getting into what's called the fascia as well. So as well as, let's just take a rock from side to side, maybe some rolls through the hips. As well as that blood moving into the joints and those areas, we're hydrating the fascia. So that's the thing that creates the shape around our bones and our muscles. When that fascia is tight, that's what usually stops us from stretching further than where our muscles are capable of as well. So it can sometimes restrict you. Let's take it the other way. So yin yoga is just really good because it makes you more flexible as well without realising it. It's amazing. All right, let's take a child's pose, nice and simple. Coming all the way down, but we're going to do child's pose with a twist. So we're going to keep the right hand where it is. We're going to bring the left arm, scoop it underneath the right, and rest yourself down. You can use a block underneath your head here if you want to. And we're going to look underneath that right arm. And relax down into that left shoulder. So shoulder niggles, you want to stick with where we are now, especially if you've got any injuries with your deltoid, if you're aware of any injuries there. Take it a bit further if you want to. Bring the right hand onto the small of the back. And just release down here. Of course, movement is welcome. Notice where your breath is now. Remember to let go on every exhale. Acknowledge any physical sensation. Acknowledge any thoughts that come to you. You just allow yourself to release them. You can always revisit them later on. There's something that they're thoughts that need to be revisited. But right now, we don't need them. Three more breaths. Here's 2. And 3. If the right hand is behind, gently bring it back down onto the floor. Slowly unravel as you come back up onto hands and knees. And just take a roll through the hips. Maybe add the shoulders into this if that feels okay. Take some barrel movement as well. And let's come back into child's pose again. scooping the right arm underneath the left. Feel free to use a block or something underneath your head. Option to bring that left hand behind the body if it feels okay. But if you feel that you're actively having to hold the arm there, just pop it back down. If there's anything that you're holding on to, especially physically, those are the easiest things to let go of. So start with that. And then you can move on to the more challenging things to release. We've got 4 more breaths. Here's 2. 3. And 4. If you've got the left hand behind your back, slowly bring it back onto the floor. Push through the left hand, unravel that right arm, and come back onto hands and knees. Now it's up to you whether you want to take a down dog or a child's pose. So any niggles with the Achilles at the moment, you may just want to reach the arms out in front and bring a nice long diagonal line with the body, coming into Anahatasana, which is a puppy dog pose. But if you're feeling all right and you want to take it a bit further, just tap those toes and take yourself back to down dog. Pedaling the feet, grounding yourself with the earth, so allowing you to feel the stability of the earth beneath you. We've got 2 more breaths, just take any movement. And then we're going to come into pigeon. So anyone who takes pigeon on their back, come onto your back. Everyone else, we're going to bring the right knee up behind the right wrist onto the floor and slide the left leg back. So if this isn't feeling good, come onto your back and bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. You can keep it here or lift up, interlace the fingers behind that left thigh. So we're getting an opening down the back of the right butt cheek, right glute. Now support-wise, you can use a block or a bolster underneath, underneath that right hip. See if you can bring this knee out a little bit further. Yeah, and then slide this left leg back. Yeah, you're good. And if you've got anyone who might be able to offer an assist, if you've got anyone there with you, you may want to just place the right hand maybe onto the left back of the left thigh, and then the left hand just in line with the left shoulder blade, and just massage outwards with the hands. So not putting loads of pressure in, we're just giving a little gentle massage. Take 3 more breaths. Gently bring yourself back onto your hands. If you're doing pigeon pose on your back, just swap the legs over. You can either come onto hands and knees or take yourself back to down dog. And then we're going to take pigeon on the other side. So the left knee comes up behind the left wrist. And we walk the right leg back, using support underneath that left hip if you need to. You can also pop, if you've got a blanket, something that's nice, just ignore how I'm actually reaching for this blanket, because it's not how I should do it. You can pop that underneath the right thigh as well. That gives it, that feels really, really nice. It takes a little bit of the pressure off, but still allows you to get into the hips. So with your breath, if anyone's mind starts to wander here, you could breathe as if you're breathing up from the toes of the right foot up to the crown of the head, and breathing all the way back down. If you're on your back, you can breathe from the tailbone up to the crown of the head, and breathe back from the crown of the head all the way, reversing down the spine towards the tail. We've got 6 more breaths. Three, and 4, 5, and 6. Gently come back up onto your hands. If you're on your back, stay there. We're going to join you in a moment. Either take yourself back to down dog or onto hands and knees. If anyone's feeling like they'd like to do a vinyasa, it's not super part of yin, but it's always nice. So if you want to, you can roll in through a plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, take a nice big oozy stretchy up dog or a cobra, breathing in, oh, what feels good. And breathe out, take yourself back to a child's pose. And then we're eventually going to meet back onto our bottoms. If you're on your back, come up to easy seated. Lovely. Okay, so have the soles of the feet together. You can use a block underneath the feet here if you want to lift the feet up, just to get a little bit more opening of the hips. Butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, another really good one for grounding. You guys know the drill, but also really good for the hips and to release tension from the lower back. So either have the hands on top of the feet, or you can have the hands on the shins. Or if you're using a block, you might want to scoop the arms underneath the legs and hold on to the block underneath the feet. Taking a breath in as you reach the heart forward. Breathe out and allow yourself to round down. Don't pull on the block though. It's there to assist you to get into the posture that you want. Once you're there, let yourself go. If the body lifts up a bit, it needs to be up. So we're going to take 8 long breaths here. Breathe into areas of the body that you can feel. Relax the face. Two more breaths. Let's see if you can release a little bit more in these last 2. pushing through the hands as you roll up through the body. Nice and gentle, and then float the head up. And release those legs out in front. And we're going to come onto our backs for final relaxation. So I'm going to take you through Yoga Nidra. Option to use bolster underneath the knees. There's no underneath the knees. Or what I quite like to do is on my left side, or if you feel better on the right, you can come onto your right, as long as you're not over 22 weeks pregnant. You can come onto your left, use a cushion underneath your head. I think I've shown you this one before. And literally just rest the right leg on the bolster here. It's lush. You can just rest here if that feels nice. But ideally you do want to be on your back, just so you can really open up. I'm just going to dim the lights a moment. So our Yoga Nidra is our yogic sleep. So allowing yourself to be as comfortable as possible. And once you are in that comfortable space, release any residual tension that you might have just by giving yourself a full breath in, holding it for 1 second, and then letting it out. And do that a few times. So deep breath in, all the way to the top of your inhale, hold it for a second, and let it out. And do this as many times as you wish. Remember, in Yoga Nidra, there is absolutely nothing that is supposed to happen. There's nothing good, there's nothing bad, as I say, it's all information. Your only role right now is to invite, to acknowledge, and just observe all of the information that comes to you. Observing any of that information with absolute mild curiosity. If something that you're aware of persists, like pain or sensation or something else that is calling for your attention, first practice just merely welcoming it. And then recognize it for what it is, a sound, a thought, sensation. Part of recognizing it means that you're recognizing all of the ways that you are affected by that thing. To simply observe and be aware of it and be witness of it. That's all. Sometimes you might choose to add a 4th stage, which is to respond to the message, but that's only after you've practiced witnessing it. Now give yourself a moment to practice open awareness without any judgment to whatever your attention is aware of right now. It could be sounds, thoughts, sensations, absolutely anything. Practice welcoming it, recognizing it. Remember, nothing's good, nothing's bad. It's all just information. And now that you've established yourself as the observer, begin to revisit your intention. That seed of intention that you can plant in your mind and your heart through this yoga nidra practice. In this moment, be only an observer of your life. Be as objective as possible. And ask yourself what you need or what you desire in this moment. Open up and be curious about what spontaneously comes to the surface. Don't try to intellectualize or create anything. And let the deep and the knowing part of you speak to the part of you that is creating this intention. Remember that you can always change your intention for other practices, but merely be aware of what presents itself in this moment as a need or a desire. It could be something physical, or a desire or a need for healing, both physically, mentally, or maybe spiritually. You may desire spiritual understanding or enlightenment. And there's nothing too ordinary or too lofty to desire in this intention. And once you've chosen what you need or what you desire, just give yourself a moment to welcome this desire or this need and recognize all the way in which it affects you. Does it conjure thoughts, emotions, or mental images? Where do you feel that desire or that need in your body? Now give yourself a moment to simply witness this need or desire. As you practice this awareness around it, notice if anything about this intention or this need or this desire has changed. Now create a positive statement around this need or this desire that is also specific and is also present. You may choose a phrase like, I am on my road to ... and fill in that blank. Or, I already have everything inside of me that I need for ... The universe is ready to give me, and fill that last blank. And once you've created your most specific and positive and present statement, simply repeat it in your mind a few times. Recognizing this intention, welcoming it, acknowledging all the ways that it's currently affecting you. Where in your body do you feel it? What, if any, images, colors, thoughts, or memories spontaneously arise? Remember, there is nothing good, there is nothing bad. It's all information. Are there any words that arise in your awareness as a response? Remember, your only role right now is to witness. Be the witness and the observer. Now that you've practiced being present to this intention, you've planted it as a seed inside your mind and inside your heart. Even if you forget what this intention is, or what it was right at the start of this Yoga Nidra practice, this practice has cultivated the fertile ground for it to grow and to bloom. The universe will begin to manifest what you need and what you desire as you continually practice presence. Now start to feel your body as it lays upon the floor. As the observer, experience yourself as awareness, feeling itself as a body. Feel yourself breathing and notice if you've been able to get relaxed during this process. If you can remember it, state your intention to yourself one more time in your mind. Because of this Yoga Nidra practice, you'll go back into your life feeling more alive and more in line with your true nature, as your intention begins to manifest in many clear and subtle ways. When you hear me count down from 5, that will be the signal that our Yoga Nidra practice has finished, and it will be an intention or an invitation for you to come back to seated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently roll yourself onto one side if you're not already there. Take any movement that you need to. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe give the shoulders a roll, the head a rock from side to side. Let's take a breath in, reach the arms up. Kiss the hands into prayer and guide your prayer into your heart space. Thanking yourself for your practice. From my heart to your heart, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks everybody. I'm just going to unmute you guys. One moment. There we go.